All right, Broncos country, we are back. It's the Mile High Monsters. Joining me tonight, as always, is David Talks Broncos and special guest Kodiak Broncos. Gentlemen, what a weird week. We've got drama at Dove Valley. We've got Sean versus Bo. We've got the game that wasn't, and we've got people getting fired. David, what the hell's going on out there, man?
A lot of good needed changes, and I think some surprising humility. We got to give Sean Payton credit, man. I think with the Joe Brady news combined with all the Davis Webb rumors, I never thought this would happen. There have been people on this channel that I've said have been crazy. Well, in the chat, Sean Payton's never giving up play call duties. Well, I am wrong. It looks like Sean Payton is saying, man, I need to give up play calling duties. And Davis Webb is is Davis Webb like the Sean Payton working under Bill Parcells? Is it that type of thing? With Sean Payton being Bill Parcells?
All right, we'll get to it. We'll get to it, Haas.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear it. Kodiak, what do you say? Weird week, right?
Weird week. So first of all, you have a game that is played in a snow globe with your backup quarterback where whoever had the lead was just going to win the football game. And that's just the reality of the situation when you get into a blizzard like that. But then, man, oh man, what an eventful 3 to 4 days it has been in Broncos country. Okay. First of all, after the game, you get all this stuff about Bo Nix and the injury, and then you get, a little bit of friction, it seems, between your quarterback and your head coach. And then you fire the offensive coordinator. And then you fire, some position coaches, which once again, I give Sean Payton a lot of credit, like David, because honestly, there are a few changes that have been made to this team that I was just like, man, that would have never happened. But you know what? It's the offseason. The NFL is 24/7, 365. So I'm very excited to be back on Mic'd Up for the first time in a couple months.
Mile High Monsters.
Mile High Monsters.
Mic'd Up is a different show, which you will be on, both of you,
right.
of course.
Yes.
But it's on this channel. Thank you for bringing it up. Look at that free plug.
Yeah, of course. But, I'm excited to be back with y'all because it's always a great time when I get to be joined by David every Monday night on Horsepower Hour. But on special occasions, Mike Carmelini.
Oh, let's go. God, he's going to be back all the time now because flattery, like always, works with me. Let's talk about everybody's done your shows. You've done your post-game shows. We've ad nauseum, right? We've done it. But it was the game that wasn't. We didn't get the game. Now we're not Chargers fans. We don't say if only this, we would have, if it hadn't have been for the refs, we would have. But we didn't get Bo Nix in the game. So we didn't get the game we wanted. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is the last time I'm going to say it. I firmly believe the Broncos would have easily won this game if Bo Nix had been playing. There's no way that he would have lost a 10-7 game at home. He would have ran that ball for first downs. He would have got us in the end zone because he always does. So without crying in our cereal, Kodiak, the Broncos win this game with Bo Nix at quarterback, yes or no? We'll never know. But do we win that game? You watched the game. Would he have made the difference?
He absolutely could have made a difference based on, how New England was attacking us, man. You see what this offense looks like without Bo Nix, and my God, okay. You see PFF always grading our offensive line as this amazing unit, like probably the best unit since the Great Wall of Dallas, if you're just looking at the raw grades. But man, you see Bo Nix, he covered up a lot of flaws in this offensive line's game, okay. And just speaking of the offensive line, minors, can't have that from your all-pro guard. 6 pressures, 1 sack allowed in the biggest game of your career. So, but to answer your question, I mean, I'm going to be boring and just give a diplomatic, well, it's just, we'll never know. Okay. I don't want to be a Chargers fan and be like, yes, well, if, because we're above that. Okay. We can't dunk on the Chargers for doing that for 5-6 years with Herbert. And then the minute we get the chance to do that, we can't be if people. But he absolutely could have helped us. And, you saw on the other side, Drake May's legs were the difference for the Patriots. They were able to have a
That's
couple
what
of,
I'm saying,
yeah,
right? Eye
a
for an
couple of,
eye. We
yeah,
didn't
of
have
course.
that game.
Of course, we didn't have that. And would it have been nice when your run game hit a hard stop and you only got one first down in the second half? Absolutely. But my diplomatic answers we'll never know. They're like New England's defense, they played a great game. Like they had a heck of a plan. So I'll give them their credit too. But it definitely could have happened.
David, fix him.
Yeah, no way. We know Bo Nix leads us to the Super Bowl, man.
Thank
New
you.
England, again, they can't apologize for the quarterbacks they faced.
Oh,
You're
that's
not
right.
going to
No.
do that. But I
Exactly.
mean, this was the weakest Super Bowl run ever. You're going through the corpse of Aaron Rodgers, a mentally broken CJ Stroud.
Did they play
and,
Fields too?
And
I can't even
what?
remember who all they played. I
Well,
didn't
I'm just talking about
recognize.
the
I
playoff
didn't
run.
recognize some of the. Just the playoff run.
Yeah,
But even in the
yeah,
regular season, I didn't even recognize some of the names of the quarterbacks they played.
yeah.
But whatever.
But
I'm with Alex. Congratulations to the Pats. But David, fix him. We win the game with Bo. Zero doubt.
yeah, oh, yeah, no doubt,
No
no
doubt.
doubt. But guys, I got a question. I'm sorry, I got to ask you about this. Woody Page brought this up today. I saw this in a clip. What happened to the heating coils under the field? Are those gone now? They weren't melting anything on Sunday.
I didn't see that. Kodiak, did you see that?
I didn't see that, but if you get a foot of snow dumped within 3 hours on your field, I feel like you could have 10,000, 1 million heating coils. I feel like they're just not going to work in that situation, to be honest.
Well, I know they have them. I don't have the answer to that. But that was supposed to be one of the cool things about Mile High is that even if we got snow, that the field would be kept warm enough that it would melt it. But they changed the grass every 15 minutes at Mile High, and maybe that interfered with, I don't know. I don't have that. Also, Woody Page has gone from one of my heroes to crazy. So I'm always careful when I listen to Woody Page now because I'm like a lifelong Woody Page fan, and he's gone a little bit batty lately. If you're watching Woody, I've told you this to your face. So
Okay.
deal with it.
Oh, wow.
That man has the most wins on Around the Horn.
Yeah. Who has the most wins on Mic'd Up? Do you know?
I mean, I want to know.
Not me.
I think it's Zach. I'm not sure.
Of course.
It's probably the more. I like you more than Zach, David. Okay? I do. You are my favorite, but you weren't at the time.
That's okay.
You
can
were
make
new.
up for it by putting me up against Perna. It's all good.
Oh, you're going against Perna. That's going to happen. The problem with Perna is when I had him on with Mario, and Mario Vitanzi, for those of you out there who live in a cave and don't know who there is, so Kodiak knows who Mario Vitanzi is. When you put Perna and Mario together, YouTube basically bans you. I woke up to like 50 emails saying you can't say that on YouTube. So
Oh my God.
a show that literally should have gotten 10,000 views got one of the least amount of views ever on a mic'd up show. So, but yes, you are going to get paired with Perna this year. He is confirmed. And I have some new ones this time. Romy Bean is coming on, which is super fun. I'm not sure to put her with. Anyways, this isn't it. Like, we're not just sitting here doing this. We'll get to that business in a second, but we got to get past the Sean and Bo ankle gate here. This, to me, guys, is way more than it should be. This is these guys are super tight. They love each other. It's like me talking shit about Zach on this show when he's not here. This means nothing to me. The injury certainly is the concerning part, but all this stuff between what Sean said and what Bo said. David, do we take anything from this, or do we just move on?
No, we don't really take anything from it, man. Now I did join Kodiak and Mark's stream late, so I don't even know what they said, but this is my opinion. Who cares? This is perfect off-season drama talk. That's all it ever is. Sean played the most important role in selecting Bo Nix. Hey, Maybe there's some miscommunication on what the you know how Sean Payton, man, he loves to talk, he loves to, expand on things, whatever. He might have gotten some things wrong, he might have not. Bo Nix might have just gotten there because to correct some things that he didn't want people just flat out taken, as fact. Who really cares how many ankle surgeries he's had? Who really cares if he was predisposed to this injury or not? It doesn't really matter. The only thing that I take from this is that Bo Nix said he has a 4 to 6 week recovery left. I love that. That means we're going to get him back for, all the voluntary workouts, OTAs, all that. Hopefully he can continue to refine his mechanics then, if this is a short recovery.
Oh, we're back on his mechanics. Kodiak, what do you say about the ankle gate?
As far as ankle gate, I mean, it just reminds you of a husband and wife that fight in public, very publicly, and then the head hits the pillow and they have their pillow talks after you know what, and it's completely fine at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just really all it is, I think Bo's a little upset because, and for valid reasons for sharing, confidential information with the public, but he didn't say anything that wasn't already out there. Okay. These fantasy football doctors, they are crazy. They know your medical history better than you do when you come into the NFL. And ultimately, I think part of Bo's frustration is, okay, Sean Payton, how's Greenlaw coming along? Not saying anything about him. Okay, Sean Payton, how's J.K. Dobbins coming along? Not going to say, or how's Greenlaw coming along, or Dobbins, or whoever, literally anybody that's been hurt throughout this season. And I think the minute he's asked about Bo Nix, he's just like, well, here's the deal, blah 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 blah. Here's what happened 5 years ago. Here's what happened 4 years ago. So I think part of Bo's frustration is, I think a lot of it goes back to, okay, you put these expectations on him to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. You put these expectations on your team before the year begins. Okay, I think I've coached 6 teams that could be a Super Bowl contender. Here's 7 right here. I just
he was right.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't wrong, but I think
he backs up his shit, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, he backs it up, but it's just unnecessary pressure on your quarterback. And I think from what we know, Bo was the one that initiated the conference call. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear it. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why the Broncos did not allow us as fans to hear it when we could hear literally everything all year. So, Patrick, I know you're watching this. Please, next time something like this happens, we have to be able to listen in, because I don't want to go off of what random beat reporter said.
All right. So Patrick Smythe, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the gatekeeper. So the deal is the predetermined break, or whatever it was that he put, it just means that break had already started and it was coming. It didn't mean that he was predisposed to those types of fractures because of some sort of defect. That's one. So that's just all misunderstanding stuff. And I didn't have a problem with what either one of them really said. It was just the way that they said it, is Sean spouting off at the mouth and Bo being like, hey, old man, don't be telling people about my stuff. There's nothing to it. I'll be back in 4 to 6 weeks. I love both of them, and I love the way it works, and I have absolutely no worry about that relationship. Michael says, can't wait for the new stadium. Yeah, you and me both, brother. And
fully on board with the retractable roof after
are
this.
you? Okay, so you're on board retractable roof. Kodiak, retractable roof, yes or no?
Yes, I'm not a football purist, okay? I don't care about the elements. It makes for some cinematic whatever, but listen, there's a reason that modern football is trending in the direction of every team playing indoors.
Yeah. And then Martin comes in, just a steady Martin. It's good to see you, brother. Heating coils cannot be turned on during the game. That's probably some stupid NFL rule that says the retractable roof has to be open, and then whatever happens, or you anticipate it and then you close it. The question is, nobody was expecting this blizzard, so it probably would have been open anyway. From what Seegers was saying, the weather was supposed to be maybe some flurries, and then they ended up with that. So it might not even have helped. And then, of course, our guy, Markey, A.T. Perry is gone. David, I guess I just want to know, first of all, how you feel as an A.T. Perry fan, and And maybe you could shed some light on why Sean Payton hates A.T. Perry.
Yeah. Dude, what a waste of 2 years for A.T. Perry to come here. Sold. Hey, come over here. Follow Pete Carmichael, who drafted you in like the 5th, 6th round, whatever. A tremendous talent. You caught all these touchdowns your rookie year. One of the strangest cases. Gets cut, and we never hear from him again. He had a great rookie year. All these dynasty fantasy football guys glazing all over A.T. Perry after his rookie year, and even before his rookie year, to be honest. Kodiak knows. But we never see him on the field. Not once, with all these drops, with all the long ball issues over the last couple years. We never had Sean pull the trigger on activating just one of the biggest what ifs, A.T. Perry. I'm happy for him that he's going somewhere else.
And where did he go?
Steelers wide
Pittsburgh or
receiver
something?
room, absolutely terrible. But man, I'll say it. We might have gone undefeated with A.T. Perry. We might be in the Super Bowl with A.T. Perry.
There we go.
And
I love
it. The biggest what if on this team, next to if Bo Nix doesn't break his ankle. What if A.T. Perry was grafted into the fold over the jag of Lil Jordan Humphrey?
This is exactly why people watch this show, David. For that sort of in-depth, emotional, moving take. I don't even like to call it a take. That's just genuine. I love
Sean,
you, man.
You unblock
So
me on
good.
Twitter now. I'm going to shut up about A.T. Perry unless he goes off on the Steelers.
Hey, Sean, can you go ahead and lift the block on David Talks Broncos? All right, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Thank you.
Hey, we're gonna Cody. I'm not even gonna ask you about A.T. Perry unless you have something to say about A.T. Perry. I think David probably summed it up for all of Broncos country. I'm assuming we all feel the same way. We got robbed of a Super Bowl because A.T. Perry didn't play.
Listen, the only thing I can say is my heart hurts for David. Okay, I'll swing in the other pendulum and I'll swing the other pendulum and say, okay, maybe there's a reason this guy wasn't activated after being with us for 2 years. And, I understand. I would have liked to have seen him over guys like Michael Bandy. Okay. Lil Jordan Humphrey getting 74% of the snaps in the AFC Championship. You just can't have it. Can't have it. So not to say that he would have made a difference, I don't think. But, man, I'm tired of known trash versus what if. Okay. And I think that's something that we'll talk about throughout the Broncos roster, not just at the receiver position this offseason. But my heart hurts for David above all else because, he was the most persistent A.T. Perry truther out there.
Not like mine, of course, which are banger after banger after banger after certified banger. I don't miss.
David never misses. It's incredible. All right, chat. I'm going to get to you first, David. Let's get a little business taken care of here real quick, please.
Yeah, shall we do this? All right. David Talks Broncos, brought to you by Kalshi. You see it over there in the left-hand corner, guys. Listen, the Super Bowl's coming up here in a little over a week. We all know the Seattle Seahawks are going to get this done, and Sam Darnold is going to be a Super Bowl champion with his 5th team, okay? An amazing feat. We all want to make money on that, so you can join me in making predictions on the game over at Kalshi. Links in the description. Use the code DTB when you sign up. Get a $10 bonus when you deposit 10. Because if you're also like me, you had
There's
some
nobody
money right on the Broncos.
David. There's nobody like you.
Dude, you had some money right on the Broncos Super Bowl. Come on now. I had this nice little portfolio of like $50 in different Super Bowl predictions on Kalshi. Now I got $1.98 in my account. I'm putting every single one of it on Sam Darnold to win Super Bowl MVP, baby.
Oh,
so
I like that.
Thank you to Kalshi for sponsoring the channel. Thank you guys for being so kind to allow me to spread the good news of Kalshi.
I love it. All right, chat. Here we go. Guys, we're going to fly through this. Marky says he's got a hard time believing Bo's timeline of 4 to 6 weeks. I guess we'll find out, right?
Have you broken an ankle, Mark?
Yeah. Have you ever been injured, Mark? You ever come back? Mile high salute. I don't feel there's a rift. I've seen him heated discussion on the sidelines due to being absolutely correct. National media blowing it out. Mile High Salute. If you're a regular on their show, that's the first time I've seen you, so welcome. Subscribe to all our shows, please, guys.
Yes.
Let's go. We've got Alec Payton trying to block Webb move to Raiders. Seems like now.
Ooh.
I don't. Is there news on that? If there is, Marky, go find it and put it on the chat for us.
No news is good news. Yeah.
No news is good news. BK says, if I was Webb, if Sean Payton does not let me call plays, I'm going to a team that will let me. I mean, yeah, maybe. That's Kodiak, thoughts on that? Like maybe a good career move?
Yeah, man. If
Step up.
Ultimately, yes, I know we have Walmart bags of cash, but what do these guys care about more than anything else? They care about legacy, okay? And if you can go to a team like Baltimore or even Buffalo, if Joe Brady hands off the play calling responsibilities, then by all means, I would do that. I would do that. As much as I bleed orange and blue, man, if I'm in Davis Webb's position and I'm, not going to get a chance to progress, and the Broncos won't give me the chance to progress in a way like I could if I went to the Baltimore Ravens, where you have a defensive head coach and you are coaching Lamar Jackson, then yeah, of course, I'd go elsewhere. I mean, what do these guys care about? I know everybody wants to say we have Walmart bags of cash. We can pay Davis Webb $1 trillion to literally just sit there in meetings. And that's perfectly fine. But what do these guys care about? They care about legacy above all else. And man, you only get one shot. What does the NFL stand for? Not for long. It's a little bit longer if you're a coach, but still not for long. And situations are fluid. You never know when you could be the next rising offensive coordinator and then your stock could tank. Think about Eric Bieniemy, 5-6 years ago. All right. Everybody wants to hire him for these head coaching interviews. And then, yeah, literally, I don't know, he goes to Washington to finally prove himself as an OC. Now nobody's interviewing him.
Okay.
Goat comment.
Also, he says, false on the web news about being blocked. The Broncos cannot do that. They cannot block him from anything but a lateral position. So the only thing you could block him for would be for a quarterback's coach. And I guess while we're on the subject, we'll go a little bit out of order. What is the deal with all of a sudden Davis Webb being the all-star kid of the league? Am I mistaken? He's our quarterback's coach, right? Like, did he do something that I'm not aware of other than that? David, what's up with Davis Webb? What am I missing?
He's the only guy to get hired on the spot interviewing with Sean Payton. So that's a pretty interesting feat.
Sean likes him.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants that next young hot shot play caller. And I don't know. They've been talking about Davis Webb ever since he started here, like 3 years ago. So when Bo Nix, who was trash coming into the NFL draft, apparently.
Yeah, of course he was trash. Yeah.
On our channels, all right. But hey, when Bo Nix is playing like a top 5 quarterback in the second half of this season, EPA even shows that, thanks to Zach Seeger. So it's undisputable that Bo Nix was playing like an elite quarterback the second half of the year. You got to credit somebody with that because it can't be Bo Nix, right?
It can't be Lombardi anymore.
Bo Nix, so
no, you can't give it to Bo.
No,
he had nothing to do with it.
But I also think, hey, the Sean Payton coaching tree is looking pretty good right now. Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Joe Brady, I believe, is also connected to Sean Payton. So, yeah, the Sean Payton coaching tree is looking nice, and teams want a piece of it. And frankly, that's why I hope he sticks around. Because hey, if Sean Payton's wanting to rely on his staff a little bit more, maybe Sean just coaches out this contract, and then we'll see what happens.
Kodiak does with Lombardi fired. We need an offensive coordinator. Obviously, Sean is the play designer. He's been the play caller. Now, if you are offensive coordinator for Sean Payton, for those of you that don't know, basically he tells you what to do and what he wants them to do on the practice field. And then he has to leave that to you to make that work and then come back and check on it, because as head coach, he's doing 10 million other things. So obviously Lombardi wasn't up to the task. Kodiak, does Davis Webb, is he in the running for the Broncos offensive coordinator job?
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't be in the running for the offensive coordinator job. The reason why he's been getting so much steam in league circles is because, first of all, you already mentioned it, only guy that Sean Payton has ever hired on the spot. And even when he was still in the league, I remember a lot of people saying, all right, this guy's a future head coach one day. And by all accounts, he has the makings of the modern ultra leader. Okay. You know, in David's channel, he has the title of the next Sean McVay. And teams just don't want to miss out on the chance to have that as their offensive coordinator, potentially as their head coach. You know, there is a chance that he's getting groomed to be the Broncos' next head coach because Sean Payton 62, 63. He is not going to last forever. Okay.
Careful what you say. Remember where you are.
Yes.
I'm just saying, just remember where you are, whose show this is.
Yeah.
Now go ahead. He's 62. He's old. He's going to die any minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. He's practically on his deathbed right now, and the last thing he's going to whisper is, "We need to get Marvin the football more," and then he's going to kick the
right. We need.
Yeah, but no, teams just don't want to relish. Teams just don't want to miss the next chance to get the next McVay. Okay, and is Webb that? I mean, it'd be a very lofty expectation for you to put that onto him, but philosophically, I mean, it makes sense. He has, by all accounts, the teachings of a modern head coach. He has the emotional intelligence of a modern head coach, which I think is something that teams really, really value nowadays. And even though the pendulum has swung this offseason with Seattle and Baltimore being like, all right, defensive head coach, but offensive coordinator being a wonder boy, you know, seems like that the league is entering a new meta, but you never know when it could swing back the other way.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you said. The problem I have is that I believe most people are basing Davis Webb's play calling abilities on one preseason game where he handled those tasks. And I believe it was Jared Stidham at the helm, right?
It was. We beat
like literally maybe he should have called it last week, but I think it's a little now if somebody offers Davis Webb a head coaching position, depending on the team, I wouldn't go to the Raiders if I was him because that's a 1 or 2 year proposition and then he's out. That's just the way it works there. I mean, they've hired 5 head coaches in like 5 years. So, but yeah, it's hard to argue that. It's just, for me, it's like, we're Broncos fans. We've been watching this team. So I understand why we might have like these lofty expectations of him or this lofty view of him, but it's a mystery to me how the rest of the league, apparently he just comes off as a really sharp dude. David, like we'd like to keep, would you like to keep him as offensive coordinator under Sean Payton?
Yes. The only reason I have wanted to see Davis Webb leave Denver when I've talked about him this season is so that he could go and call plays.
Right.
Because I never saw Sean Payton giving that up. But it's very clear with him firing Joe Lombardi, with trying to go after Joe Brady as well to see if he was interested in this OC position, with Davis Webb not accepting the Raiders head coach position yet. Now, maybe they're waiting out for Kubiak, whatever.
Yeah.
I think all signs point to
Kubiak's the favorite.
Right. That there's a shift right now. And Sean Payton wants to find kind of that heir apparent. And Sean McVay, right? He called plays, what was it, for 3 years under Mike Shanahan? So it could be something very similar to that. Washington was so dumb. They let him go.
Yeah.
We could have, I know it's kind of a meme now with Steelers culture, right? But we could have one of those successful succession plans. All right. That would be very ideal. We got the resources to make it happen. And if you're going to call plays for the first time ever, it would be nice having some guys on the staff like Sean Payton and Pete Carmichael to also draw from. But I think if Davis Webb sticks around, that's the only way he's doing that is he gets the play calling duties that he wants, and he gets the head coach in waiting title. I think it goes that far.
Okay, so here's what I know about Sean Payton. He's planning on coaching another 8 years. I tend to take Sean Payton at his word when he makes statements like that. Now, Pete Carroll was 71 years old,
Right.
and the game had obviously passed him by, and that was a disaster. But he left and went somewhere else. It's a little different when you don't have to rebuild a whole place. You've got guys that know your system, aka a Davis Webb, who I think it's a little early to groom a replacement because Davis Webb is not going to sit around for 6 or 8 years waiting to take over for Sean Payton.
I think you can sell him. Sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
Because
It's our
in
show.
8 years, he's still going to be in his 30s.
Just because I'm in the middle doesn't mean I'm the boss here.
Yeah, but he can still, in 8 years, dude, you're still like 39. Like,
Yeah.
that's perfectly a good age to take over as head coach sometime. Can you sell him on the process?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Kodiak, any more on that?
No, I mean, you just basically nailed it. I think, you could sell Davis Webb on being, okay, you're going to be an offensive coordinator for 8 years, and then you get the raise.
Assistant head coach. Mhm.
Yeah, of course. And I get that. Once again, I already talked about guys, valuing legacy, but you know what? Davis Webb, he already lives here. Okay. I think there's only 2 more hurdles to clear as far as hiring him as an offensive coordinator. I think just Baltimore and Buffalo, I think those are the only 2 hurdles you really have to clear because I don't think he's getting the Raiders job. But yeah, Baltimore, because that would be a very attractive position. And then Buffalo, I don't know if Brady's going to give up play calling necessarily to his offensive coordinator, which means, fake offensive coordinator position. It would be no more than what Joe Lombardi did here. Okay.
Yeah.
And, we fired him for a reason. And, good on Sean for having the wherewithal to look internally and be like, okay, potentially we have something here. Okay. I think you have one of 2 future head coaches on your staff. It's inevitable. You have Davis Webb and you have Jim Leonard. Jim Leonard's probably leaving this offseason. So you had to protect at least one of those 2. That's just really all it boiled down to.
Yeah. The Broncos have fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, wide receiver coach Kerry Colbert, and cornerbacks coach Addison Lynch. I mean, Sean Payton, I said it before, he's not messing around. Like, AFC Championship game was not good enough. What he saw on the field was not good enough. And whatever, I guess you can say this any way you want, but Joe Lombardi is like one of his closest buddies, and he still canned him. I take this as good news. I think that I like a coach who's not satisfied with, and sometimes that's what the Harbaughs and the Tomlins run into, right? They're like, no, we're good. We just need, better players, or it just didn't, it gets stale or whatever. I take this as a huge plus. Now, I did talk about, is it Streif? Running game coordinator, right? So a lot of people think he's the offensive line coach, but he's the running game coordinator. He survived.
Running back coach survived.
I tweeted that out, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's not him. It's Streif." And I'm like, I seem to recall running back coaches being the ones that are saying, "All right, you're the hot hand. Go stay in there." But whatever. It's early. We don't know what's going to happen. I think when we get a new offensive coach, OC announced, we'll find out about the play calling. We'll find out. I think Sean's going to be very reluctant to stop calling plays, but maybe he will. But as far as these moves go, what's the deal with the cornerback coach, David? Addison Lynch. What went wrong there? Do we know?
Oh, yeah, you want to know what went wrong with it?
I want to know. Well, that's why I'm asking the question.
Like 12 penalties he got this year. Whether you want to debate it, the validity of them. I mean, I don't think all of them were valid, but this secondary did get flagged. And I don't know. Maybe they're just wanting a new, fresh perspective. I have a lot of questions, Mike, on this secondary going into this year. Because, man, we had talent ball out. No doubt about it. Like against the Bills, Jaquan McMillan was fantastic. Pat Surtain, I believe he had another all-pro year, right? But I got question marks on what is the plan for Jahdae Barron. Okay. What are we doing at safety? It seems like we have one safety go down and all these issues pop up. The Addison Lynch firing, I don't really, it's kind of We'll see who they replace him with. But I've liked the development that we've had in the corners with the corners. But I would say probably a top 3 frustration of mine, outside of A.T. Perry not being used this season, is when you draft a guy like Jahdae Barron and you glaze all over the fact this man fell to pick 20
Mm.
and he plays as sparingly as he does, I can excuse that as a mid-round pick or a late-round pick. If this guy is a top 10 talent in your mind, like on the draft big board, which is what they were saying, how the hell can't this guy find more consistent playing time on the field? I know we might be stacked, but I just got a lot of questions with the secondary room and his utilization.
So here's one thing to think of, and then I'll throw it to you, Kodiak. So in any business, we always want to assign a reason why someone was fired. Okay. Like Addison Lynch, there's layers to coaching. Now he's just the cornerbacks coach. So he may have been doing 90% of the stuff right and pissing some coach off the other 10% of the time. Like literally telling players, okay, I know coach said do this, but do this instead. Like that's the stuff you'll never hear about. Mm-hmm. But those are a lot of people get fired for stuff like that. Joe Lombardi, like Kerry Colbert's a pretty easy fire for me.
Oh, should have happened.
Nobody can catch the damn ball, and apparently the people Marvin Mims can't learn how to run a route. Like that's your job, Kerry, and you suck at it, so you got to go. The cornerbacks coach is a weird one. Maybe it's because he couldn't, prep our first round draft pick to play. I personally think it was a wasted draft pick, but I'm just a short term guy. Like I said, get Bo some weapons and maybe we can win some games. Turns out he probably could have used somebody that could catch a ball and run with the ball.
Higgins right there.
Could have run the ball. Like we had no plan for if Dobbins, who generally gets hurt, we had no plan behind him except a bunch of, I believe the way my co-host on Spin Zone, Colin Cronin, calls them, hobbits, because they were all 5'8", 200 pounds.
Yeah. Quinshon Junkins at pick 20 sure seems nice in retrospect, right?
Exactly. Like sometimes it feels like we know better, even though we don't. We trust the system. We trust the process, don't we, Kodiak? Any thoughts on any of these fired coaches? What do you got, Kodiak?
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. The wide receivers coach, Kerry Colbert, that needed to happen a long, long time ago. Okay. I remember it was David back in October 2024 when the Broncos had some of the worst wide receiver play in the league for the first part of last year, saying, our guys give poor effort. They run bad routes. They also have bad hands. So, that's just not what you want. And
other than that, they're great.
Yeah. Other than that, they're fantastic. Okay. But even then, a few guys did develop, I think, better, like Franklin, like Bryant. But Mims just seemingly has never developed, and he's still underutilized. So that was pretty obvious. But cornerbacks, I mean, I get it where he's coming from because we've had a lot of guys that have been up for the task with the quarterback room. Okay, unlike Patrick Surtain, no, we are not letting Jaquan McMillan go. Absolutely not.
That dude's a baller. No, we better not let him go. Him and A.T. Perry, those two could start their own team together. They're so good.
Yeah, thank you.
But thinking about the quarterbacks coach, like I get it because there were a couple of issues. As good as those guys have developed, as good as you've had Abrams Drain play when he stepped in and you haven't missed a beat, as good as Jaquan McMillan progressed, as good as Riley Moss honestly has progressed from the time you drafted him to being a very formidable quarterback too, you still had a lot of issues, man. You were absolutely shredded in the secondary by good teams in the second half of the year. You had so many penalties. You didn't get that many turnovers, even when you were pressuring the quarterback at a historic rate. Okay. And I think those were just all frustrations that Sean Payton shared. Okay. Why in the world, when anybody ran motion in the red zone on defense, were guys just
nobody pick him up?
Yeah. Travis Etienne, Jonathan Taylor, those dudes were running free whenever there was any motion in the red zone. So I get it. I get it. Am I like it definitely raised my eyebrows when it happened, but we're not in the building. We don't see like 99% of the stuff that goes on, from the day-to-day standpoint. And maybe this guy just was the Nathaniel Hackett of coaching DBs, and our DBs were just that good to where it didn't matter, but still.
Yeah.
Do you want Kodiak? I'll stay with you. So way too many communication problems in the backfield.
Yes,
in the
1000%.
defensive backfield. That has been obvious to anybody. And again, as I always say, I'm not an analyst and don't pretend to be, but I know enough to say this. There were a ton of communication problems in a backfield with a lot of talent. I don't know if that falls on VJ or if it falls on Lynch or who it falls on, but it probably falls on Lynch. And this wasn't on the docket today. And David, I know you got 12 minutes and you got to get out of here. So do we want VJ back, Kodiak?
Yes, but there are some caveats. Like, I'm tired of watching this defense collapse after the bye week 2 years in a row.
Every year. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And, I think Leonard would have been better at modern adapting because Mitter and McDonald are both cut from the same cloth that Leonard are. Ultimately, I'm not upset that VJ is returning, though, but, you got to figure it out next year. All right. You can't have any of these games where you're just getting completely manhandled by the Mariota Commanders. You can't have these games where Jordan Love is coming into your house and on fire in the first half.
Jaguars.
You can't have any of these games where, oh yeah, that's another thing. You're tackling against the Jaguars. Oh my goodness. Terrible. Just absolutely terrible. So yeah, we want VJ back. It's something I'm cool with, but ultimately I think against the Patriots, had you had a real big stinker, I think it would have been like easy for us to be like, all right, it's easy to, it's time to move on, but we didn't. So all's well, odds well. Our last memory of him is a happy game.
David?
I mean, what some of the altitude radio guys have said, obviously they know these guys personally, but the case for Vance Joseph, I think, is kind of like what we've seen with Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. Like, Chiefs' best years is when they had, that good cop, bad cop kind of guy, or kind of dynamic there. And they were saying how they feel like both Davis Webb and Vance Joseph are a very powerful counterbalance to Sean Payton's intensity for just mental dynamics in the locker room. I don't know Jim Leonard's temperament. So I think I would like to have him more involved in the schematics of the defense. But it's, I don't have an issue if VJ returns. I still would rather him go be a head coach, though. What are all these teams thinking? You got Vance Joseph available for head coach, man. I want those third-round picks.
It's tough, isn't it? Because the Lynch firing could be like the thorn in the side of VJ's defense.
Maybe.
And that's why that move was made. And Sean was able to see that on film where he felt VJ was making the right calls and VJ was doing the right things. And then the calls in the backfield were leaving these guys in motion wide open, even though it shouldn't have based on the calls. And so that's the kind of stuff where we're judging VJ based on what we saw on TV, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I guess part of me is like, if he gets a head coaching job and leaves, that's great. If he stays, that's great. Just fix whatever that problem is, and I'll be fine either way. But I see Leonard in a little bit different light than I do with Davis Webb. I really want Jim Leonard to stay here. So I would be fine if, if VJ got, a head coaching job and Jim Leonard became the defensive coordinator. I'd feel pretty confident about that myself. David, you've got 8 minutes to get out of here. So let's close this out and let's just do a quick look at the 2025 draft. We don't need to name names or anything, but that class, keeper, creeper, sleeper, there's a little bit of everything in there. I already said I was pretty upset, when we took Jahdae Barron at, was it 20 or 2020? Now we got Hufanga. We brought him in. That's not a draft. We got Harvey. We got Crawshaw. There were some wins and losses, but the draft class itself, Bryant is another one, right? Was he this year or last year? He was this year. So we had some potential there, but as a whole, this draft class wasn't a big help to us, other than maybe Crawshaw, was it, David? Now Q Robinson. I mean, there's potentials that. So though you got sleepers, but they didn't really. Not yet.
The problem is that the first round pick carries more weight than these other picks. It just does. So if you miss on your first round pick, but hit on everything else, and we're not talking about like drafting all pros, in rounds 2 through 7, just drafting like good players. Like, even if those guys play a good role, which I think like in a vacuum, RJ Harvey at like pick 60 or 62, wherever he was at, I think he performed fine for that, like where he was drafted at. Pat Bryant, I think, performed fine for where he was drafted at. Q Robinson as well. Savion Jones, we know that was kind of a redshirt pick. It's whatever. Crawshaw hit it absolutely out of the park. Him being drafted in the 6th round as the first punter, like, that was perfect. But the Jahdae Barron pick, again, it's frustrating when you say you got this big time talent, but then in places where our secondary is struggling, he's not even given a shot to go out there and prove himself. It's like, oh, we want to keep him exclusively inside at the slot. You don't draft a guy in the 1st round to be an exclusive slot DB. That's ridiculous. We've seen his tackling ability. The dude can cover. He won the Thorpe Award, right, at Texas for being the best cornerback in the country over Travis Hunter.
Okay? I thought the Thorpe was a linebacker award.
Butkus. That's the Butkus Award.
Oh, the Butkus Award. Okay.
Yeah.
Butkus.
So
he said Butkus.
Yeah, but you miss it. You miss on him, and it feels right now like a Shane Ray or Bradley Roby pick. That's how it feels.
Here's the problem for me,
a
David.
luxury pick right there.
My problem is that it wasn't even for a position of need at all. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, somebody said the other day that, we brought in Jahdae Barron to the strongest, maybe perhaps the strongest defensive backfield in the NFL. And I'm like, yeah, and that's not a good thing, because we had so many other impact needs. 1st round draft picks should be impact players. Now, I don't remember what the offensive line looked like at that point. I know that the wide receiver we had our eye on went the pick before, but there were running backs there. And guess what happened? Kodiak, draft class, keeper, creeper, sleeper, any input there on that?
Well, I mean, it's easy to look at the Barron pick right now and be like, man, that sucks. And man, I would have loved to have our 1st round pick get more than 5 snaps in the AFC Championship. Okay. And the reason why I didn't like it is because, they sold it to us. They sold it. George and Sean went to the podium after the draft, and we're just like, this was the number 9 overall player on our big board. So I'm just like, okay, so you basically took him without a clear plan, and they rejected multiple trade down offers to get him. So you're pitching it to the fans like, okay, we couldn't pass on this guy, and then you couldn't pass on a guy who played 5 snaps at the AFC Championship. So I get it. Full disclaimer, if I were picking at number 20, I would have taken Derek Harmon. And how much would he have played this year? Probably not a whole lot, because you were also deep at the defensive line. But, like David said, the 1st round pick carries a lot of weight. But, I think as frustrating as it is now, it might be something where you have to wait a year or two to truly reap the benefits, because, Jahdae said it in his introductory presser when he was here. He was like, man, at Texas, I wanted to be 3 years done, gone to the NFL, but it didn't happen. Then in his 4th year, he wins the Thorpe Award for the best DB in college football. So, yeah, I get it. And he's handled it like a pro. I give him a lot of credit for how he's handled. And it's easy now to be like, well, it was probably not the smartest use of resources. And I don't disagree, but it doesn't change the fact that we took him. So we got to get behind him. And, still taking running backs that early, it's still not really that smart of a way to build a team. I get it. Omarion definitely could have helped us in that game a lot better than just having Jaleel McLaughlin or Tyler Bidet out there could have. But hey, man, I get it. But
Webb pulling out of the Raiders job, according to
So-
Andy in our Discord.
whoa.
And Markey confirms, and it's per Adam Schefter. I would have put the JP. I would have put you up there, but I didn't know you. So, according to Adam Schefter, yeah, he withdrew his name from the Raiders job. So good move for him. Doesn't mean everything. And also Hydra. Just want to get to this one. Q Robinson looks better. Well, I don't know if he looks better than Dondre Tilden. Maybe he does, but he looks like a player, and I am glad we got him. That guy's going to be a player. One of you put film out on that? Was that you, Kodiak? Or
Literally at 4 a.m. today, I posted this. I posted this little highlight reel on Twitter of the, I was really happy with him in limited samples, so hopefully that keeps up.
David, you need to get out of here, right?
Yeah, I got a few minutes.
All right.
A few minutes.
Got enough. So this is big news, guys. This is that's nice to see. That Davis Webb is not dumb enough to take the Raiders job. Now, doesn't mean it was offered to him, because there definitely is word out that they're just holding it for Clint Kubiak. So what does it mean? Well, it means he's definitely not going there. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I guess my perfect situation for me is going to be Sean makes Davis his OC. Bo loves Davis Webb. So that takes care of that issue. I think Davis will do whatever Sean wants him to do, but he will know better intimately what Bo really likes to do and when he likes to do it. And he will have at least more of Sean Payton's ear, if not calling the play. So this is pretty good news for us, David.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very good news. I'll leave you with this. My biggest question.
Bet on your favorite.
Well, that is not debatable.
Okay.
All right. It's not debatable. Okay.
Just making sure. I know Rawhide's out there. Whatever. Horsepower thing.
Yeah, we did a show today.
But I'm your favorite.
Rawhide. But and this might be a prediction, but I've been sitting on it this week.
Ooh.
And I feel either Brandon Jones or Riley Moss, one of those guys won't be on the team next year to make room for Jahdae Barron playing full time. That is my prediction. And if Jahdae Barron, and if we don't do that, and Jahdae Barron is brought back as a backup for a second straight year, I ain't feeling that. That's not good.
That would be a failure.
That would be a failure of a pick. That's a bust for you don't draft backups with the first round. You just don't. So their belief, remember when they didn't sign a corner and they're like, going into the second year, Riley Moss is going to be that guy. I want to see that sort of signaling from the front office and staff about confidence in Jahdae Barron. I don't care which position it's at. Get him on the field. Yeah, if he's supposed to be that great.
I love it. I love that. That's hot. Hot take. Kodiak. Dude, do you agree with what he just said? Because I kind of do. Like, first round draft pick, somebody's got to go. But I wouldn't want to be the one to pick it. Now you're going to move him to safety?
I mean, you could. But he still only played 102 snaps at safety his senior year at Texas. So I just don't know, man. Like, it's one of those where, oh my God, you are going to lose a good player regardless. And man, if it's Brandon Jones, that's really, really going to suck.
It's a tough one.
Because I truly feel like your depth at safety is weaker than your depth at corner. But, eventually you're going to have to pay Bo too. So you need to stack cheap, young talent on the defensive side of the ball. Okay. Because you have all these veterans on the defensive side of the ball. You have all these contracts. You have Benito. You have, you extended both DJ and Roach. And you're going to need to go probably at linebacker too this offseason. So we'll see. But I agree with what David says. As much as it would suck, ultimately, this is the hidden cost of using your first round pick on a guy like this. And you have to get him on the field in some way. But
not a position of need. He's just sitting there.
I mean, they do view it as a future play, George and Sean, as much as we might disagree with that philosophy. But, we'll see. Once again, it will suck if we do move on from one of those guys, but such is life. It's the NFL.
Yeah,
Such is
we'll be
life.
trading, Riley Moss for, a third round pick or something like that to draft a guy with skill positions when we could have just used a first round pick on a skill position. To your point, Mike, like
That's the thing. Like I always get the best player available shtick. I do, but it's still a team and there's team needs, and we didn't address them well enough, and that came back to haunt us in an AFC Championship season. So I mean, yeah, it's not like we we're sitting here at 8-9 complaining about stuff. We're living the good life right now. The season was great. It was a success. Just an absolute ton of people watching us. So that's fantastic. Well, this is just, I don't know what that feed is, but whenever it's like the 267 thing, that means overall it's going to be pretty good. So yeah, this is great. David, get out of here. I'm going to kick you out. But I want Kodiak. Can you stay for a minute? Let's see if we can get through the chat.
Streaming on my channel. Guys, go subscribe to Kodiak and Mike. Links in my description for their channels.
Yep. I'll put that all out, brother.
All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks for
See
having
you
me
on the next one later. All right. Let me see if we can set up. There we go. That'll work.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of people. Sorry, guys. Took me a long time to get to the chat. We had 3 people on here, but so I do want to shout out a few people here. Now this name, Kodiak, if you recognize this guy, this is JP Eduarte. Probably screwing that up. Davis Webb is withdrawing consideration. I didn't put it up because I didn't know you. Crawshaw best pick. Kinda, right? Like he started, he was awesome. Do you remember in the preseason when everybody was talking about how we needed to get another punter?
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
He was worrying me. He was really worrying me during the preseason, but then he hit that first punt against Tennessee. I was like, whew.
Gamer.
Big sigh of relief.
Yeah, gamer. Like I try not to overreact too much. What's up, Hydro? Great listener, great follower. Guarantee T. Higgins is up for trade. What would you all give up to get him? Well, what would we have to, or what would we give up? Kodiak, those are 2 different questions. What would you give up for T. Higgins?
I mean, the conversation starts with your first and probably a third. I don't know if the Bengals would want more. I don't know. They probably want a little bit more, but George Payton, he likes to go to the podium and say, "Oh, we're comfortable in that room. We like what we have." But the Petters said we're going to be aggressive this offseason. So
yeah, I hope they are. 1-800 Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson was the talk last year.
Yeah, come on, Darren Boogie. Give us one final present for helping you grow into an NFL GM. Come on, give us Garrett Wilson for a 6th round pick.
And Moogie got himself a job, and he's having to do the work now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, trading away Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams and New York Jets job. Man, you got to start from scratch there. So I'm interested to see how that happens.
He's got his work. Zach Phillips, 8891. I don't think in their wildest dreams on draft day they thought they were on the brink of the AFC Championship game. That's not what Coach said.
Oh,
J-Mac was straight balling in this. He was. J-Mac had a great season, man. He's always good for a miss here or there. He had a miss. Was it did he miss one in the what was it? That was a Jaguars game. I think he missed a 1-yard gain that turned into either a touchdown or almost all of it. But when you play as aggressive as he does, you make plays and you're going to miss a few. But overall, yeah. J-Mac was balling this year. What do we got? I may have hit this already, but I want to get caught up. Yeah, he does. T. Fish is good to see us. Sean Eves is his rookies into the program. I don't have a problem with how he does it. I have the problem with the actual picks that they made. Like I'm sure Jade, either I think it was Kodiak. They got to get him on the field somewhere, but that's going to be at the cost of one of the other players. And since we don't really have a weak player in the defensive backfield, what are you going to do? Maybe I can't imagine they let J-Mac walk, but he is a restricted free agent, right? Is that true?
Yes,
if he is.
Yep. So you're bringing him back basically no matter what. Like RFAs just usually don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Hydra back in. Drop a scheme and run. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the game. The run game coordinator, Streef. Is it Matt Streef?
Zach
Streef. Did a good job with the offensive line in a lot of ways. But like the run game was pretty bad.
So here's
minus
what, here's what
one.
I'll say.
No.
I don't think schematically it's a problem because listen, Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell, man, they do a lot of the same stuff and their run games are cooking. Their run
Mhm.
games are on fire. You saw Swift and Monungai this year in Chicago. You've seen Demont and Gibbs, with Detroit. So a lot of it is stylistically very similar to what Sean Payton wants to do. So I don't think schematically is a problem. And man, you saw what this line looked like with J.K. Dobbins, dude. You see some of the push they were getting against the Eagles defensive line of all D lines. Man, they were crazy. And I don't know what the answer was for why they collapsed down the stretch, but schematically, I don't think it's a problem.
I think they collapsed because J.K. Dobbins was averaging 5 yards a carry, and RJ wasn't quite ready for that number one role, nor was he kind of even built or drafted for that. I don't know, but towards the last half of the season, he's averaging like 3 yards a carry. So we missed J.K. Dobbins. I think that's what it is, and I think it was.
I don't even want to know what this team would have looked like had somebody else signed J.K. Dobbins in May when 31 other teams could have done so. That would have been scary to think about.
Well, would like to know when we were all screaming for Omarion Hampton as a kind of a bigger, stronger running back behind him, probably could have been pretty handy. But I love RJ, and anybody that watches this show knows that. I think he's great. He's a playmaker, and they're going to figure out how to use him even more. So this is probably talking about Jahdae Barron. I think he could play outside or inside, honestly. Kodiak, you would know better.
Well, Vance Joseph had an interview with Peter Schrager during the Broncos bye week this past year, and he basically said that the plan basically was first year inside, second year outside. So I think they're thinking corner. I think they've been thinking corner this whole entire time. And I mean, it makes sense because I think Brandon Jones is better at safety than Riley Moss is at corner.
Yeah. Hydra, we take a second. Would we take a second for Jaquan? Probably with Jahdae being here, but that's not.
The problem is
that takes him off of the edge, and now you got a problem at your slot corner.
The problem is
nickel.
It's just really hard to quantify pick value because, teams value nickel so differently. And nickel, in the grand scheme of things, is a devalued position in the NFL. It's not one that usually gets taken pretty at a premium high position. But I think, this front office, they love their picks. So I think if they were to get offered a second round pick for J-Mac, I think they would do it. The problem with J-Mac is he's not he's a limited player, but he's still a great player. Like he's 5'9", 180 pounds. He's still limited in the grand scheme of things what he can do, but he's so smart and he means so much to this defense that, I mean, luckily I don't have to make the decision on whether or not you trade Jaquan for a second round pick. I know that second round picks, a lot of people would just look at that and be like, how would you not take that for Jaquan? Well, there's just so much more that goes into it than that.
There is. And one of the other things too is always keep in mind that every draft is different. And so the second round this year, just an example, say it's like the tight end depth is really, strong in the second round this year, or offensive tackles or something, then there might be more of a reason for the Broncos to make that move. But sometimes it doesn't look that way. And that second round pick just turns into something you got to trade back, and then you're just getting other stuff. So it really would depend on how the draft looks, who they have their eye on too. It's because, like you said, that second round pick could be, it's going to be like pick 60 or whatever it's going to be for one. And then two, that might not be that important of a place for us for what we already have there. So the chat is running the rest of the show, which I like to do once in a while. BK says he'd rather sign for a wide receiver than trade for like just pick one up instead of trade for one. Either way, I'm not sure what that means, but I do have there's a lot of talk about from Payton and from Sean, so both Paytons, that they like that room, Kodiak. They like their wide receiver room. And it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy considering what we've seen from that room. But I did talk to somebody on the show once, and I can't remember who it was. But if you took a Higgins, or if you took that, yeah, get that out of my face before I start. I have to take anxiety medicine. If you took our wide receiver room and put a true wide receiver one on top of it and kept everybody the same, I would love our wide receiver room. The problem is that I don't think we have that one guy that we really need, that they have to account for every game. Like who in that room does another team say, whatever we do today, we can't let Cortland Sutton beat us? Nobody's saying that. They might say that about the red zone, or they might say that about third downs, but we don't have a guy that they have to scheme around. So would the wide receiver room be okay as is, -1, because you got to lose one, if you gained a Higgins or a, whoever the next available true top tier number one wide receiver is?
I mean, I think for the most part, the room is complete. As annoying as it was in the AFC Championship to see Lil Jordan Humphrey out there, it took injuries to Franklin and Bryant for that to be the case. And you know what? Maybe you could say whatever you want about Bryant. I know that he got really beat up in the back half of the year.
Yeah.
But either way, I think you just need to add one more. I think not only do you need to add one more, you need to utilize the guys that you have in that room better. Okay. Should have never taken 2 injuries for Marvin Mims to get the role that he did. And anytime he's gotten a chance over the past 3 years, all he's done is make plays. So that's just the reality of the situation. I think you need to be better about how you scheme these guys. I think you need to be smarter about how you deploy them. And yeah, ultimately, I think you just need to add one more to this room. And T. Higgins could be that guy. I mean, Jonathan Cooper at a 2 for T. Higgins, probably not accepted by the Bengals, but you never know.
Yeah. Throw it out there. Mark says Tillman was great, and he was. And he did get sacks, and he did have 2 interceptions. In fact, he led the team in interceptions for most of the season. I don't know if he finished that. Parker Washington cooked everybody late this year, T-Fishes, and yes, he was one of them. Thanks for bringing up a bad memory, dude. Big E Bronco, as much as Sean Payton called the run game in that game, especially with the weather being bad, tells me he has no faith in the running game. Well, that's been obvious all year. He doesn't run the ball. It wasn't working. And, I think it was working before JK went out, and then it wasn't working, and then he just went away from it. He wouldn't stay with it. But we won a lot of games, but it certainly didn't work in that game. Hydra, what do you know about Dante Moore? Anything?
Yeah, so apparently he was supposed to be the Jets' second-round pick, or a second overall pick. Like, they pretty much had that in Sharpie. But then he returned to Oregon, okay?
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how smart that is to forego a second overall pick contract. I think it was more than just I didn't want to play for the Jets, because if his heart still was set up playing in the NFL, he literally could have just gone to the Jets at the combine meeting and been like, throwing both middle fingers in the air and been like, I'm not playing for you. Screw it. So there's the other part of that. Like, I think if he truly wanted to play in the NFL this year, he could come out. But he also, man, he looked very, very raw in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yep. Marky, our guy, more he thinks about it, more makes sense to trade Riley Moss, extend McMillan, start. That is probably, I think David said that earlier, and I like Riley Moss, but
Me too.
we got a first-round draft pick. This might actually be what happens. It could be, and I'd be all right with it. I'd like to keep Jaquan McMillan. Okay, yeah. Any other pick? We know what you meant, bro. Don't worry. I'm losing my voice. I'm saying a second. So a second rounder. If we're going to get into this whole trade stuff, we're going to get into all this stuff on other shows. Trust me. We'll wait till the draft and after the draft and free agency and all that stuff. And then one of your experts right here on the show tonight is Kodiak Bronco. You can find him at Kodiak Broncos on YouTube. The link will be in the description, as will David's show too. And again, it looks like you guys went so off on all the chats that I'm never going to get to them all. And so if I didn't get to you, I see a few new names I'd like to just call out. Kazoo helmet during games. Yeah, that was heartbreaking. He was obviously going to be a big part of our game plan in the which game was it? The one, the Bills game.
Buffalo,
that he went out. So yeah, but I'm high on Bryant. You're high on Bryant too, aren't you, Pat? Pat's a good looking player.
Oh yeah, of course. Pat Bryant, definitely. He was one of the highest floor rookies I've ever seen. Anytime the play needed to come to him and he needed to make like a big third down catch or extend for the first down marker, he did.
He had the best hands of every receiver on the team from what I saw. Like we had a couple games where it was a little, but man, he caught everything. Easy catches, hard catches. He was just great. Bert Montoya, Breece Hall from the Jets. That was a name that's been brought up a few times. What are your thoughts on Breece Hall?
I mean, Breece would be fantastic. You just need offensive playmakers, okay? I don't care if it's Breece Hall. I don't care if it's Kenneth Walker, okay? Because, teams, they usually don't like to sign free agent running backs to big contracts, but man, you're in your window. You can't mess around, okay? You can't have what you had the AFC Championship where you're deploying McLaughlin and Tyler Bidet and all those guys. Those guys literally probably aren't good enough for the rest of the NFL. So you just need to get a little bit more serious about upgrading your flawed points, not on the defensive side of the ball, because you're not seeing the effects of the Russell Wilson trades and the dead cap on the defensive side of the ball. Your depth is great there. Your talent is great there, but you are on the offensive side of the ball.
Last thing I want to ask you while I've got you, and like I said, I'll have you on mic'd up here this season, but inside linebacker, Singleton, Stroud, Greenlaw, what needs to happen there? And can we trust Greenlaw to come back and stay healthy? Singleton did good things and bad things, and he gets a lot of blame for running backs out of the backfield, running free, but he also has kind of got past his whiffing on tackles. Like, where are we at with that? What should we do here? Should it be Stroud and Greenlaw next year, or should we be drafting or looking for help in free agency for inside linebacker, which I think was one of, if not the biggest weakness in our defense, was the linebacker position.
Yeah, man. It's so tough because Sternad obviously played really, really well this year, and I'm really proud of him.
I said Stroud, didn't I? Sternad, yes. Thank you.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
I knew what you meant. But either way, Singleton, the reason I'd be disappointed if he brought back is because you've seen what it looks like, and you've seen what this ceiling of this defense is with Alex Singleton being an every down player. Not to say he hasn't done some great things for this community, not saying he hasn't done some great things for the defense, for the room. I love Alex Singleton. I'm probably getting a jersey that I can hang up in my back wall, but
cut him.
Yeah, no, but I don't want him to come back because you leadership and quality of guy that you have in your building has gone a little too far with this coaching staff, and I would be much more intrigued if you went into next year with Greenlaw and let's just say Karene Reed, because you know what Singleton is, and it's not that good. You know what Sternad is, and it's fine, but he wants to go somewhere else where he could start. I'm not sure if that's the thing here, but yeah, you're capping your ceiling if you bring those guys back. I would love for Greenlaw to come back. I think he has to. I think he needs to get a bigger role in this defense next year because he wasn't bad this year, but he wasn't Greenlaw. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like the game changer inside linebacker we thought we were getting.
Well, I didn't know what he was doing. That was apparent. He was swimming. He was drinking through a fire hose or whatever. Any way you want to put it. Like he couldn't quite catch on to everything. He even talked about how difficult it was. It was like trying to learn Spanish. So another year in the system, and he's healthy. I agree. I'd love to have him back. I think. As far as Alex goes, Alex Singleton, he's 32, 30 something, like he's older. And he's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
He's a free agent. I'll be surprised if he's back. But he may go out there and not find anything. and he may come back in as a vet minimum fill-in until somebody else is ready. We don't know. It's hard to close that chapter until, again, after free agency and the draft. We'll know more, but I don't expect them to move quickly on Singleton. I think there was a lot of stuff on tape that didn't look good, but what did look good was your beautiful, handsome face and foam helmet on the show tonight. Kodiak, thanks so much for coming in. And yeah, over 300 now, which is pretty rare on this little counter. I don't know where that number comes from, but that's pretty good. So we're happy you guys are here. Again, the chat, this Thursday show, man, it just blows up. I got to get somebody to just do chat for me. So follow, subscribe, please. It helps us all so much. Mile High Monsters, David Talks Broncos, and Kodiak Broncos. We're all joined at the hip, guys. And Marky, who's out there in the chat helping us out with breaking news. Speaking of breaking news, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining and helping out with the show. Go Broncos. Kodiak, when are you on next?
I am probably going to make, I'm really good at the short form stuff, so I'm probably going to make something here within the next hour or two about, the Broncos not re-signing John Franklin Myers or Davis Webb staying with us. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, follow me on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok at Kodiak Broncos. And man, it was a pleasure to be with you, Mike Carbolini.
Yep, loved having you. And I will be back on tomorrow with Mario Vitanzi from Let's Talk Broncos, altitude adjustment. I think it'll be five or six, can't remember. We're going to talk about just kind of the season and just a quick run by from Mario, who has a special way with words. So until then, though, go Broncos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you guys real soon. Thanks.
Go Broncos.